Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and this is my review of Clint Eastwood's new true story hero film, The 1517 to Paris. And this is starring the real men who lived through this tragedy and the real heroes who helped stop this terrorist attack on a train inbound to Paris. And Clint Eastwood does his Clint Eastwood thing directing this. This was shot by John Stein, written by Dorothy Blyskell, and the music was composed by Christian Jacob. And I had an interesting feeling about this film. So first off, this was a well-intentioned film. For all intents and purposes, they had a lot of good meaning behind making this film and trying to make a tribute for these men who deserve to get recognition for saving the lives of so many people on that train. That being said, this probably would have been better as a documentary, and maybe even like when it gets to the point of the train sequence, doing a dramatization through that documentary. Well, and this is leading to another idea, is that they could have made a different film that probably would have turned out as a better film. In terms of this as a film, I didn't really like it, and like it didn't really work for me except for the last 10 minutes, which honestly, the last 10 minutes, which this builds up to this sequence on the train, is extremely intense, extremely well directed, and just a fantastic piece of cinema, which I'm not surprised because Clint Eastwood is a very talented director and really turned it on for that sequence. The rest of this film, trying to tell the story of these young men leading up to it from them being children, honestly, and it's like, well, this is what really happened to them, this is how they really grew up, but like, would I make a movie about my life? Probably wouldn't make a very interesting movie. I don't know. And they probably shouldn't have made a film specifically about them growing up and their trip leading up to this sequence happening. What I could have seen, and now I'm just going off on what ifs, is you make a tense hour 20, hour 30-minute film of them on the train. You get a sense of them for a little while, so you actually feel like these are real human beings, and it's slowly leading up to this tense blow-off of an event that took place over the course of probably like a couple minutes, and then the aftermath of it, which honestly, people are comparing this a lot to Sully and saying that it had a lot of the same problems. I actually rather enjoyed Sully, and I thought Clint Eastwood did a nice job of building a film around that particular event. Also, the plane situation probably took longer than this too, and they did a really good job of building up to that. This film, honestly, the first 80 minutes of this film, it's like, I wouldn't sit through it again, honestly. Like, I'd watch the train sequence again because it is really well done and really well told and really well flourished with tense intensity and well shot. But honestly, at this point, it's just like, I just sat through 80 minutes of, yeah, these guys grew up. This guy wanted to be in the military. He had an interesting montage of working out, losing weight to Believer by Imagine Dragons, except they don't use any of the lyrics. They just cut around using all the music, and I'm like, that was unexpected. And because the thing is, and to face the elephant in the room, they probably shouldn't have cast the actual heroes in this film because they can't act, and their acting wasn't very good. Especially their friend, he was the worst. Like, there's moments where it's like, you can tell they were sitting there remembering, you could see the gears moving, them remembering their lines and waiting for their moment to like jump in with their line. And sometimes you don't realize how hard it is acting until you see people doing it that don't really know what they're doing. And the unfortunate thing is, Clint Eastwood's probably not the best director to be working with people who've never acted before, because Clint Eastwood, from what I've heard, is great on set, very lax, just does his thing, but he he's not an actor's director. He doesn't sit down with the actors, really try to get into what they're going to be doing. He just like, you know your job, you're an actor, go do it. And they didn't know their job because they're not actors, so it came off really bad. And honestly, the writing of this film, it's really hokey, and there's moments of like, some of the lines are cringeworthy, and a lot of the characters throughout just feel like caricatures, especially when they're kids. Some of the people in that school is just like, really? Are you even a real person? It's just like, I'm mean hall monitor guy. You're getting detention again. And like that kind of stuff. And even the kids' acting wasn't that great, which it's really hard to get children acting done well. But the thing is, I've seen some of the kids in other things. I'm like, they can act. So, and then honestly, like, they spend a decent amount of time on the guy's trip, and the three of them going through their trip, and nothing really interesting happens. The funny thing is, one of the things that popped in my head, they go to a nightclub in Amsterdam, and I'm just like, I'm trying to imagine Clint Eastwood sitting in that nightclub while like filming everything, being like, what is this place? And that, I got more enjoyment out of thinking about that than the actual sequence. But, and honestly, how this was edited, things get just rush and jump along places. And honestly, I kind of lost track of what country they were in a couple of times during that sequence when they're on their trip, because it kind of just like jumps. I didn't even realize they left Germany to go to Amsterdam. It's just like, when did this happen? Kind of thing. Unfortunately, as a film, wasn't really into this movie. I really do think it's worth shining a light on these heroes because they did something miraculous and saved a lot of people's lives. Probably could have been done a little bit differently. I can't give this film a great grade based off of, the last 15 minutes of the film. Unfortunately, I'm going to give the 5:15 to Paris a D.